So I want to acknowledge that I'm speaking to you from the lands of the Gayamaygal people. I'd also like to extend my respect to elders past and present and any First Nations people watching. Sovereignty was never ceded. This always was and always will be Aboriginal land. Hello, everybody. Today we're here to chat about Warrior Nun, as usual, it seems, on this channel, and the show's outstanding representation for so many diverse communities. Joining me today is the composer of the beautiful music that we hear in that accompanies our nuns through their journey in season 2, guiding and lifting already beautifully performed scenes to these just truly special moments that Warrior Nun fans are holding so close to their heart. I'm delighted to welcome the just insanely talented Tangelene Bolton. I guess music has always been just a big part of your life.
Yeah. Definitely has.
Yeah. So, like, what sort of drew you to composing as an art form for you?
Well, I've been playing piano ever since I was a little kid. My Lola, or my grandma, and my dad were like the original people who taught me how to play on the piano. And I was also a very like curious kid, always outside of nature, around, putting on plays. So it was kind of natural that movies kind of came into my life. Um, I was also really into film in my teens. I toyed with the idea of maybe being a director one day. So my first years of school, I did more liberal arts and kind of experimented, delved a little bit into maybe I'll do film, maybe I'll do music, maybe I'll do, I explored lots of different subjects. I felt like there was still like a lot I felt like I needed to learn about the world. I was still pretty young. But then eventually I kind of merged the two together, film and music.
Yeah.
So I went to Berklee College of Music in Boston, Massachusetts.
Yeah.
And then I eventually, made my way out to LA and then worked at Hans Zimmer and his company. And then went on to various things. Like I was a Sundance fellow at a certain point, and got a lot of awesome opportunities to learn along the way, and I'm grateful for all of that and where I am now.
You got a lot of opportunities because of how incredibly talented you are. It's just, I think that's very important to note. Like, I've always loved movies since I was tiny. Movies and TV have always been like the circle of my life. And just, I remember one of the first like times I really recognized the music in a movie was in the remake of Charlie and the Chocolate Factory. The Johnny Depp Charlie and the Chocolate Factory. Yeah, that really massive score. I like when it like first like opens through that like chocolate factory scene, I was like this is completely changing everything about the mood of it. And I was just, I was in love with that, like the energy that music can bring to cinema. But also it made me recognize that if it's bad, it's bad. Like if the score of a movie
you can tell,
like, ooh.
That's very true. It's either it's not to your face, it's serving its purpose, or it's you're noticing it.
Yeah.
And maybe not the best way. So you are right about that.
What led you from sort of that like Sundance Fellowship and working with Hans Zimmer and these like awesome achievements to then coming onto the Warrior Nun team? What was that sort of process like?
Sure. Well, I mean, it was definitely over the span of like close to a decade. After Hans's camp, I was sort of mentored by another composer named Bobby Tahori, who during his time over at Hans's camp was working for people like Ramin Djawadi on like Game of Thrones, Heitor Pereira, Despicable Me, and other people like Jeff Zanelli, who did Pirates of the Caribbean. So he was one of the people who gave me a chance at the time where I still didn't have a ton of experience just yet. So he gave me tons of like technical skills, like prepping orchestra. I just like learned anything and everything about film scoring from the ground up.
Yeah.
And eventually I would do like additional composing for him or additional, drum programming on some of his games or shows. Like Marvel's Avengers game. And it just over time, I gained more and more experience. and then started getting some short films. So it was sort of a bunch of things that started stacking up, that gave me sort of an eye from agents. So then I eventually got signed by an agent. And then after about, I would say, under a year, I finally landed this project. So it was sort of a bunch of events that prepped me for the opportunity.
Warrior Nun is such a huge story and such a complicated story. So
I definitely did my homework and definitely did prep. Did make sure I prepped a lot for Warrior Nun, just because, you know, any new project can be a little daunting. So
of course,
I made sure I prepped enough so that by the point I was like full on scoring, I was like, it's all in the back of my mind already. So.
I would love to know what your more technical process is like when you're given, are you given a scene, or are you given an episode, or just like a moment for the characters, and then sort of how do you create the music in a, you know, and again, this is coming from someone who's a complete just novice dumb when it comes to music, so sorry if this is not very technical.
No, of course. Well, I mean, I guess every project's really different. Not all projects give you the chance to start writing some ideas before they start editing. But luckily, I came on board early enough for season 2 that I was able to start receiving scripts in the different phases and reading the scripts early on by the imagery that was like in the text. So that was a really fun experience because I was already starting to visualize my ideas for different characters. Just like Adriel specifically, those notes and those ideas came to me as I was reading the script. But I do remember I'd sent Simon some of those ideas, my thematic idea for Adriel, which was kind of featuring like a solo violin. And he really liked it. And he said, just a heads up, William brought a very like rock star approach to Adriel this season. And I was like, okay. So I have to keep that in the back of my mind. And like his performance is amazing in season 2. So I definitely, once I received, or once I started to look at the dailies and some of the rough cuts, I was seeing that like star power that he really had in season 2. So I made sure that a more like virtuoso violin quality to his theme, and featuring my good friend Abby, who I had met at Hans's studio. So she would come to my studio and I'd record her, and I'd always be like, okay, give it a really like virtuoso style quality for Adriel. You know, it's like he's a concert master of his orchestra, summoning the orchestra. So I really wanted to give that kind of effect to Adriel. So there were certain things like that. I'd gotten started with some early ideas in the space, but you know, of course, things change once you receive the cuts and you're getting really influenced by the visuals and the performances. Amazing performances, different characters. And then from there, I would kind of tweak my template, add certain instruments here and there as I got influenced by what I was seeing in picture. But things move quickly. Things move very quickly. So it was nice that I had a few, you know, themes written already beforehand. Because once you have a spotting session and then you're ready to start writing, it just moves quick.
Okay, so you're on the train and the train's not slowing down.
Yeah, exactly. That's TV.
Well, sort of like on that, like you sort of said Adriel's theme had that like virtuoso violin vibe. I know that you've said previously that the different characters all have these sort of different instruments or different you know, themes that are very like indicative of them. Who gets what is the sort of breakdown of each of the characters and their instruments?
So Adriel was more of that virtuoso style violin. And also another reason why I chose violin, because it was a devil's instrument.
Yeah,
Yeah, he's not
nice.
like maybe he's not a straight up devil, but there is
Yeah,
that kind of homage to the
yeah,
devil's instrument. So for the OCS, I use, you know, like traditional choir
yeah.
for them kind of throughout season 2
Yeah.
to kind of tie things together.
Yeah.
And then for Lilith's character, I used a lyre, which is like a tradition, like a ancient instrument that I played almost like how you would for a harp.
Yeah.
And then as she starts to go through her like transformative experience throughout season 2, I start bowing it a little more aggressively, and so you can hear sort of elements of that pierce through the rest of my instrumentation. Like for some of her fight scenes, sometimes you'll hear a little more of a um, shrieking quality from
Yeah.
that.
Yeah.
And then I also use this instrument called a pipe. I've shown it a couple
That's
times on,
awesome.
yeah. So it's like a vocal processing engine.
Oh,
Yeah. So
cool.
really any sort of sound that goes through it, you can technically manipulate.
Okay.
But I would sing through it, and
Mm-hmm.
um, I would put certain like tremolo qualities on it, so it
Yeah.
would have kind of like a wavering quality whenever I would mix that in for Lilith as well, to
Yeah.
kind of show that she started with traditional voice too, and then we get a little more manipulated as she
Yeah.
was transforming.
That's amazing.
But I
That's so
also
cool.
use but I also use this for Rhea too, which is like the complete opposite
Yeah.
of Lilith.
Yeah.
But I did some tweaking on the algorithm, so it would be more like muffled and
Okay.
watery and almost otherworldly.
Yeah.
So those are a few instruments. And then for even Beatrice, I went like more by the books,
Yeah.
piano and strings.
Yeah.
Just instinctually, it just felt sweet for them.
Yeah.
So
Definitely.
that's why. Yeah, those are a few.
Would you say that that pipe thing is the most like unique piece of equipment that you've used to in your music, or do you like to use a lot of those more unique things?
Um, it is definitely unique in how it looks and
Yeah.
responds.
Yeah.
I think it's really fun. But I have tons of synthesizers. Um, I love Moog synthesizers too.
Yeah.
I use this one called a grandmother, kind of to in the background for Michael and Jillian for
Okay.
when they meet.
Yeah.
In the background of that, I have a little bit of the grandmother to kind of pay an homage to like the other side, like hints of
Yeah.
a synth element, but
Yeah.
for the other side. And also when Michael's talking about Rhea in the house, when he's talking to
Yeah.
Jillian, and when he's talking to Ava about their plan, I have that in the background too, to kind of symbolize, you know, the other side, and
Yeah.
you know, what does all this mean? What is heaven? What's hell? This kind of limbo-ness
Yeah.
to
Okay.
everything.
That's really, really beautiful and very cool. Like, yeah, just the power of music, man, to like create beyond what you're actually seeing. I think it's so underappreciated and people don't realize the like I guess like the amount that emotion is being manipulated by and manipulate is probably like not the nicest, kindest word for it,
But
but like
it's kind of right though,
yeah,
in a way.
yeah,
Um, yeah, in a way, composers are kind of manipulating the audience.
yeah,
It's either we're doing it in a truthful way, which
yeah,
I like to do. I like to kind of show what we're actually seeing.
yeah,
But it's nice to sneak little things in there too, or to have certain themes for certain characters, like for Michael or Miguel in some earlier scenes when they're like snooping around,
yeah,
driving around. I think, yeah, I hint at Michael and Jillian's theme once or twice.
yeah,
The piano kind of melody for them,
mm,
I hint at it a couple times.
yeah.
So no one would really know what that means, but I know what that means. So
Exactly,
I
exactly.
guess like a satisfaction in me
Yeah,
knowing that I'm putting that there. It's like I'm
yeah,
telling you what's going on. It's like I'm spoiling it, but
Yeah.
I'm not, because no one knows until later.
Exactly. But that also like just adds to it, because Warrior Nun is such a rewatchable show. You can go back and see it again and again. And I know for a massive section of the fan base who are so in love with your composition and so in love with the way that you created these themes, they've gone through and picked out all the moments where they've been used and just been like, we see you. Like, yeah.
That makes it really rewarding.
Yeah. I think you follow Coco. Coco is one of the
You're talking about Coco, yeah, because
yeah.
I thought it was so cool to read that analysis. I was like, oh my gosh.
Yeah.
Like a lot of it was pretty spot on too.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Absolute.
So cool.
So smart. And I when I first was I obviously was like, Coco, help me. I don't know much about music, please.
Oh, nice.
And yeah, so Coco sent me this like, you know, huge Discord message that was just like, listen, you don't have to ask all these things, but here's some things to look out for. And I was like, thank you.
Thank you, Coco. Shout out to Coco.
Shout outs to Coco, because I just adore them so much. With those specific themes in your music, does the creation of, you sort of said that it comes from sort of watching and or reading the scripts and seeing the performances, that sort of like amalgamation of it. But when you're like choosing the instruments, sorry, this is I know this is probably not like the most fun for you, me just being like picking the composery part of your brain, but
no,
like,
do it, go ahead.
When you're choosing the instruments, what like how do you connect the like what you're seeing and then choose the instrument from that, if you know what I mean? Like, is it just like more of an instinctual thing, or is it just like a sort of, you said like paying respect to like the devil's instrument with the violin? Is there a lot of that goes on, or?
Yeah, I would say it's either instinctual, or literal, or conceptual. Like so it's either I have some kind of concept I'm trying to go for, or it's instinctual. Like for Adriel, that was more of like a concept I was playing with Lilith, kind of like a concept again, my own kind of spin on like how you would use a lyre and then use it in an unconventional way. I like playing with concepts, so that's a fun way for me to go about it. But for Ava and Beatrice, though, that was very instinctual. I didn't want to go too conceptual with them. I just wanted to go like with empathy and love, and what instruments to me represent the pureness of love, and that's piano because it's my first instrument, and then strings, just to pay homage to like old film scores.
Yeah, that's exactly what I felt like, especially in with the Ava's Fall piece of music. It felt very like old Hollywood, but in the most like beautiful, like, you know, like crescendoing, like warm way. I'm really glad that's where you were for it, because I think that carried through beautifully. And I love that piece of music so much. I think it is really you can feel the love that you put into it, like with the whole soundtrack, but really for that one in particular, to me, you can feel how much empathy you have for the characters and for the story, and the amount of care that was put into crafting it. And I just it's just so beautifully done.
Oh, thank you. Well, I love them, and their chemistry is incredible on screen, so it's so easy to feed off of that energy.
We all love Beatrice. Of course we all love Beatrice. We
love Beatrice.
There's no choice, I don't think, but to love Beatrice if you're a Warrior Nun fan. But do you have a sort of favorite of the themes that you've created for each of the characters?
Well, originally I would say that when Ava's in training, when we first really feel her powers, that was a beautiful scene for me to score. And I just got so inspired by the visuals and Alba Batista's performance there. So that is definitely a big one. And I love the crescendo that we feel when she's just, in full force, and then she falls, because Beatrice is just such a distraction. I love that one.
Yeah. Yeah.
And then I would say the last scene.
Yeah.
When they say bye.
Yeah. Heartbreaking.
That yeah, that's also one of my favorite scenes. And it was definitely easy for me to write.
Yeah.
Again, because I was just like kind of putting myself in that perspective and feeling the love and feeling the heartbreak and what love, like how love can be so painful and letting someone go too.
Yeah.
So, and I feel like it's just a universal theme too.
Yeah,
So
absolutely.
that was a big one, of a big favorite scene of mine too.
I think out of all of the scenes for like its beauty in its concept, its construction, like all over, the kiss scene and that final scene are just perfect and devastating.
So
Like, yeah,
devastating.
it's just like, it feels like the end of the world because for them it is in that moment. Like it really just, yeah, it broke. I know it broke everybody's heart. Like,
So sad.
yeah, and you're partially to blame for that. So well done.
Oh, and I remember, oh, I know. Well, I remember too, Simon, that was one that Simon had actually come back for. Like it was already wrapped and done.
Yeah.
And then months later, he'd come back and said, do you mind revisiting this? I want to like push the melodic quality of Ava and Beatrice even more, after, the push into the portal or the arc. And then after Beatrice says I love you, and then that whole sequence until the end, I'm
Yeah.
playing the Ava and Beatrice theme on like this dulcitone instrument.
Yeah.
So that was something that I had done later. So that was
Okay.
also because of Simon,
Yeah.
to push more of the melodic theme between them to
Yeah.
kind of wrap up the season. And that's why we need a season 3.
Exactly. We need a season 3, not only to keep Tangelene employed, but to make sure that we just get like the closing, or not even the closing, we just get more of all of these beautiful stories that have been so like lovingly created by everybody involved. Like I think that's sort of why I love to do this and why I love to speak to, you guys, because it really does, you can feel the love that you put into the show just by watching it. But by actually talking about it and unpacking it, it does really just show the fans how much, just love and like care that was put into creating it for everybody. So need that season 3.
Thank you.
Don't care
I
if it's
know, we
on
need
Netflix
that
or somewhere else.
season
Just need that
3.
season 3.
I want to do like a Beatrice, like on her own theme, like a
Yeah,
contemporary Beatrice theme. I feel like that would be so fun.
that would be awesome. That'd be so cool. It would be like
Yeah.
the sort of the opening of season 2 where Ava's in the pool on her own and then walking
Mhm.
to it'd be like that type of energy, but for Beatrice, it'd be
Yeah.
beautiful.
We have to just keep putting it out there.
Exactly. It's called
It's our
manifesting,
thoughts
right?
to manifesting.
Yes, just
Yeah.
solid manifesting. But no, when I spoke to Christina, just sort of diving into this that last scene a little bit more, I asked her, why did Beatrice wait to say I love you back to Ava? Christina gave the most heartbreaking answer to why Beatrice would do that, which was she thought that they had more time. And that really just, oh.
I know, that's so sad. Yeah, it's such a heartbreaking moment.
Yeah.
But I was fully in it. Yeah, that whole scene was pretty easy for me to write. Just the hardest part though is just making sure you're in the mindset
Yeah.
to sit down and kind of like let all the emotions flow.
Yeah.
So yeah, I always try to make sure if I'm tackling a scene like that, I'm like prepared. I'm right in the moment, or else there's really no point of putting down those notes.
Yeah. No, I get that.
Yeah.
Like,
Special scene.
it's very,
Heartbreaking but
very
special
special.
scene.
Yes. And also I think like, you think of the like most beautifully scored, or at least I do, most beautifully scored scenes from like cinema or TV. They are usually the ones that are tearing your heart out of your chest and handing it, like it's really just like, it's a grief and trauma is a great building block to create truly beautiful art, unfortunately.
Oh, I know. But I mean, what I like to tell people though is, yeah, I mean, it is derivative of those things, but
Yeah.
all of those experiences are what make you that unique person who's
Yeah.
able to bring that kind of art to the world. So
Yeah.
it's all unique to us.
Sort of away from the music that you were actively creating and, putting to these gorgeous scenes. Do you have a favorite of the pieces of more like, I don't know the right wording for it. It's not contemporary music, but like, mainstream music that was used for in the show?
Oh, like, got it. Like
Yeah.
the
Yes,
licensed music.
yes, exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So that is all due to Lindsay Wolfington, who's amazing music supervisor.
Yeah.
She's responsible for all that. I mean, him for her is definitely my favorite.
Yeah.
That was such a special scene, and I mean, it's pretty obvious that everyone loves it. So that's definitely my favorite.
Yeah.
It's just perfect with the scene and like the directing and like that whole like panoramic shot of them together.
Yeah. It is
Beautiful.
absolutely perfect. And I love how that song has become like sort of the unofficial anthem for the fans and for the fandom fighting for that season 3.
It totally is.
Yeah.
When we get that season 3.
Exactly.
Oh, and did you see the billboard in New York now?
I did.
That's incredible.
I did. It's apparently right across the street from the New York Times offices, which is so funny. I love it. That's just, I think what I love the most about this fandom is how everything's being led, like it's passion and drive and love, but it's also humor. Like it's fundamentally very funny to be putting up a billboard in front of the New York Times being like, hey, look, hey, like
I know.
Yeah, it's so cool. And yeah, how does that sort of feel for you, like to see that kind of thing?
It's incredible, and it's just a testament to like the fandom.
Yeah.
And how talented everyone is.
Yeah.
How talented, how just everyone's so quick and organized and like has a plan and executes the plan. It's just inspiring. I mean, like aside from everything and the bad news too. Just seeing how hopeful everyone is and how positive everyone is, it's just, I feel like it's an inspiring way to go about life.
Yeah.
It's kind of how we all should be. And I think that's the awesome thing about the fandom. So I'm so grateful to all of you because we wouldn't be where we are without everyone.
Yeah. And I know that you know because you're in and amongst the discords. But the fans,
I mean, I'm just a little lurker.
I know you're a lurker. You throw a gif out and then run away, and I just am obsessed with that. That's very funny. But I think that like the fans love that as well. That like not only is this like drive for a show and for like a story, but the fans do feel like they're working for the cast and for the crew and for you guys, because you're all so engaged and, talking on Twitter and talking on Instagram and just being there for the fight. Like it's beautiful. It feels like a very, codependent is not right, but like, it feels very like connected. So yeah,
we're all here for the fight. And I feel like, that's what makes it worth it. It's always about the fight and the community and everyone working together for the cause, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
So
yeah, we'll
get all these minds together. Yeah, we will.
Exactly. There's no doubt in my mind. We'll get it done. So for on that like licensed music point, like him for her is definitely number one for me. The other that I just think is so funny but also just so wonderfully used is Halsey's I'm Not a Woman, I'm a God. There's something so iconic. And I think I tweeted when we were like, when, people were live watching, and I tweeted something like, this is the most appropriate moment for the line, I'm not a martyr, I'm a problem, that I've ever seen in my life. It's just so perfectly used. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, I think that's like the cool thing about, you have score, you have like these amazing licensed songs, and with the words, it's just like perfect for what's going on in the scene. So it's just like adding that extra level behind it. So it's just so fun.
Yes, absolutely. When we do get that season 3, you know, just like, I'm not asking anyone to cross fingers or toes, because it is coming and we all know it's coming. But when we do, what is sort of, do you have any particular journeys, or, you know, aside from Beatrice solo, that you that you would like to score, or that you'd like to take the audience on with your music?
Aside from a contemporary Beatrice theme, I just feel like that would be so amazing. I mean, just like this holy war, I picture it being so epic in season 3. So I just like would love to do just even more bombastic music. Like take it up just many notches in terms of like the action. I just picture, I don't know, holy war, like what does that mean? So I feel like I cannot imagine so much. I would just be so curious what that would look like in the scripts, and then eventually how it would be depicted on screen. So holy war, I just, big, lots of percussion, like lots of synths. But again, I would have to first see what's going on in the scripts and on screen.
Yeah. Well, see, if people were not wanting to fight hard already, see, we need to hear the amazing soundtrack that Tangelene will bring to that holy war, because I want to hear that percussion and those synths. Like, honestly, I think that'll be insane. I think one of the most beautiful parts about Warrior Nun as a show is the way that it offers such true to life representation for diverse communities, but for everybody. In its narrative, its casting, and its production team. You know, from talking to Simon, from talking to, you know, many others, I've heard that across the board, diversity wasn't the goal, but it was just like what happened because all of the best people are on the project. So how is it for you to sort of be a part of this show and this team that really does, you know, centralize diversity, but in this very like effortless way, and giving that to the audience?
It felt really great because exactly like how you said, it represents, you know, representation, diversity, but it is very effortless. It doesn't feel like there's any sort of agenda. And in this world where sometimes it feels like someone wants to put an agenda. It's nice to be involved with something like this because I feel like I can put in all my experiences musically out there, just as I am, without being told, okay, I want you to do this in a woman way, or because, do you know what I mean? Like, I'm not being told to do anything specific. I'm just hired for the job and I'm trusted that all my experiences that I've gone through are reflective in my music. Because those are all the experiences I've gone through and all the hardships I've gone through. And it's made me into the person that I am today. And that's why I do what I do, is to share all those experiences kind of funneled through my sort of artistic art form or through music. So it feels great. It feels really rewarding and really rewarding. And I'm thankful for the experience and happy it's out there in the world. And it only solidifies the types of projects I want to continue doing and being a part of.
Yeah, definitely. I know that it's in this industry there is change coming, and it has been happening for, you know, the last, like, proper change has only been happening for the last 5 or so years. But the, like, you know, before that people were being like, change is happening. It's like, well, when it's moving at a snail's pace.
Talking about it.
Yeah, exactly. We're talking about it. Like, talking about it's not doing anything but pop off. That's fine. When I think that, like, the point at which I can stop doing this and stop asking this question will be when we do see people being given the opportunities they deserve across all of production, not just in front of the camera, behind the camera, in writers' rooms, in casting
I
rooms.
agree.
Like, yeah, and so it is amazing to have this team be full of such strong, just incredibly talented people without being like, you're a strong woman in this position. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like,
and I'm thankful I was never like that. Simon had never said those words to me or anything like that. And it's so invigorating when you feel like, and I feel like you don't have to be told those things either. You should just be trusted that those are your experiences, and that's why you do what you do, and it's all funneled through your art form. But the way I look at it is, you know, everything I've gone through in my career so far, and everything I'll continue to go through in my career to fight for, you know, more equality in my industry. It's just to help the next generation. Help them go through less of those hardships, and to hopefully make it a bit easier for them to just get their foot through the door. So that's what I try to think about. It's like, it's all for the next generation. It'll be better.
It'll be better. I'm a firm believer that the work that people do today is to open doors for people tomorrow. So I love that that's what you where you sit with that as well. But I'd love to just sort of, we have mentioned the fans because, you know, and this fight for season 3. Is there any sort of message that you would like to send to the fans for all of this work that they're doing? I am giving you the floor.
I think I've said it already, but you're all so talented. I'm so grateful to all of you, and I know the whole cast and crew are also grateful as well. And just, you know, keep fighting for that season 3. Keep sharing and spreading the news about Save Warrior Nun. And you're all just so talented. I can't wait to see like what you'll all be doing in the next 5 years, the next 10 years, like leading the world. I don't know. Just keep doing what you do. And if you don't see that space out there for you, just make that space for you. That's all I can say. Grateful.
That is the quote of the entire interview. If you don't see that space, make that space, because it's true.
You have to.
There's nothing wrong with going after what you want and what you feel you deserve, if you know what I mean.
What you feel you deserve. That's a big one.
Exactly. Yeah.
And even getting to that place of feeling you deserve. That's already such an accomplishment.
Absolutely.
So, you know, whatever you need to do to give yourself more of that love, that self-love, to get to that place of knowing you deserve something, that is a huge strength to be at that point too.
1000%. And like, just a kind message to the fans from me, I've seen a little bit of people feeling down and feeling, you know, low energy because they've been fighting now for, you know, 2 months. You know, there's been a lot of love and everything given to this campaign, but just, you know, look after yourselves, please. Drink your water, eat your food, get your rest, and only give as much as you can without taking away from yourself. You know what I mean? Don't leave yourself empty. Because I think that's something that only comes with growth, to know where you need to draw your own lines.
Thanks for saying that, Ange. Yeah, it's that's such an important reminder for all of us to tell ourselves that. So I mean, I'm gonna take your advice.
Please, we've only got so many spoons in the drawer. Don't be going out and buying new spoons. Just keep a couple back for you to get through your days. Because I know that I've got a couple of like big, not great things happening in my life right now, but I've got my couple of spoons that I'm holding to my chest and giving the others that I can. So yeah, that's all you can do.
It's beautifully said, Ange. Everyone listen to Ange, okay?
Beyond, you know, we're still getting that season 3, but beyond Warrior Nun, beyond, you know, what's happening right now, do you have any upcoming projects or anything going on that you would like fans to keep an eye out for?
Sure. I have like a thriller horror film coming out in March. I think March 4th. Called Unseen, and it's with Blumhouse. It's fun. It's a lot of fun.
Yeah.
So yeah, check that out in early March.
Yep.
And it's really exciting because it's a double female Asian lead.
Wow. Okay. Amazing. That's so good.
And my director is Yoko Okamura, and she's a very talented Japanese director. So everyone go out and take a watch if you enjoy thriller and horror films.
Yes, everyone go see it. If it'll come out. I'm sure Blumhouse movies always come out in cinemas, so you know.
I don't know exactly. This might just be going straight to streaming, but I'll have to double check. Make it even easier for you all then.
Exactly. So yeah, no, I can't wait for that. I love a good horror movie, so I'll be right there for that. Okay, so that's sort of where the questions wrap for this interview, but I do have a little game if you would be interested in playing it for the last couple of minutes. This is just a little bit of Warrior Nun karaoke. So I will give you a character and you just tell me what you think their karaoke song should be, and what their vibe will be.
Oh, this is hard. Okay. All right.
Okay, so let's start off with Yasmin.
Yasmin. Well, she's really fun and always happy.
Yeah.
So it would definitely be something more energetic.
Yeah.
I would say like Dancing Queen by ABBA.
Yes. I love that.
That would be fun.
That'd be so good.
I feel like she'd bring a good energy and everyone would be like, that would encourage everyone to maybe want to participate.
Yes, that'd be the first. She'd be the first one up.
She'd go first.
Yeah, I feel like Mina would body that. I think she'd be great.
I think so, because she's very positive to herself.
Yeah.
Well, she's also very, very smart. She is very similar to Yasmin in a lot of ways.
Yes, I could absolutely tell, and she just loves. I think she just loves her character so much that she knows everything about Yasmin and was just so knowledgeable about everything that I asked. It was lovely, and it was very generous of her. Afterwards I was like, thank you, and please go outside. We've now been talking for so long. Okay, so next up, Camilla.
Oh, whoa, my lights just changed. I have, did you see that? I have those Philip hues, it's like you can set them for certain times of the days. They have a different mood.
It just was like
that was everyone.
A ghost just came across the screen.
Sure, Adriel's the ghost of Adriel. I feel like, okay, for Camilla, it has to be a Frank Ocean song.
Yes. Yeah, absolutely.
Any Frank Ocean song. But I feel like it'd be fun if she rocked out to a Blink 182 song or something. Or Paramore. I don't know.
I love that. That's I Miss You by Camilla.
Yes. That's hard though.
Yeah.
But I honestly Camilla could pull off kind of anything though.
Yeah.
Because she has that sass to her, but she's also really smart and knowledgeable.
Yeah. Nah, love that. Okay, Lilith.
What about a Beyonce? No, Destiny's Child, Survivor. Survivor for Lilith.
Yes.
I was obviously a teen in the 2000s. That's why a lot of these references.
Yeah. I love it. That's my zone. Mother Superior.
Well, it has to be something fun because Mother Superior's always so put together.
Yeah.
Britney Spears, Hit Me Baby One More Time.
Yes, absolutely. Adriel.
Oh, Adriel. Oh no, that guy.
Old Mate. What's Old Mate singing?
Maybe Bohemian Rhapsody or something.
Yeah.
But he's so dramatic. He would be so dramatic. like very operatic and dramatic and over the top.
Mm-hmm.
And maybe a cappella.
Oh, that's also like such a villain thing to do at a karaoke, is to take the longest song and to sing it a cappella.
And like have a spotlight, and he'd be like on the table, like a spotlight.
I could see William doing that as well, in fairness.
I feel like he would have fun.
He would, yeah. I either that, or in my head I've got like sort of Meatloaf, like Paradise by the Dashboard Light. You know what I mean? Like something like that. Yeah. Again, like a 9-minute song, something.
Something long, definitely something long.
Okay, what about Beatrice?
Beatrice. Okay, that's a hard one. I feel like it'd be kind of cool if Beatrice sang like a Radiohead song, like Creep or something.
That would be awesome. That'd
You know what I
actually be
mean?
so cool. Yeah.
I feel like everyone would be like, whoa, Beatrice is, I mean, everyone already thinks Beatrice is so cool. That, or like something like a Backstreet Boys song.
Yeah.
Like I Want It That Way.
Yeah. Like letting the bun out in some way.
Yeah, exactly. It's one or the other. It's like the coolness or just like letting go.
Yeah.
And doing something fun.
And what about Ava?
I feel like for Ava, it would be like a Miley Cyrus song, but like a throwback Miley Cyrus song, like
Party in the USA.
Party in the USA. We all know, like
yeah. And what about Beatrice and Ava? Would they have a duet?
I have one. Be Unwritten by Natasha Bedingfield, because the rest is still unwritten.
Yeah, I love that. I think that's so good. And the final one, what would the whole squad be getting up to sing together?
Oh, like a Lady Marmalade. Because I feel like the solos in that song would just be so intense. Like, and everyone would kill those solos.
Yeah,
and it'd be funny.
Absolutely. Dead set. I reckon that'd be so good. I reckon Adriel would probably come through and try to steal all the solos, though. I think that he'd be just
they need to film a music video.
Right? That'd be so good.
Like a cover of that.
Yes, but like a Brady Bunch style of everyone in their little Zoom windows. I think that'd be great. That'd be perfect.
But they're all seriously so talented. Like, isn't KTY like a pianist too? She can play piano really well.
Yeah, and like like professional ballerina. Like very much like insane talent from every direction. So
that's why I feel like they would like actually kill that song.
Yeah. No, I 1,000% agree. Yeah. Yes. Okay, well that's kind of it.
Thank you, Ange.
Thank you. I'm so bad at ending these. I always am just like, well, that's it. But
we need to go get some food, hydrate, take care of ourselves.
Exactly.
Like all of you should do.
Yes.
After you're done watching this.
Precisely. So yeah, just thank you so much for just talking to me and just, making time to have this conversation for me, and also for the fans, for the community, and for this beautiful show that we're all hanging on to, and will continue to fight for that season 3. This has just been an absolute delight, and I would love to speak to you again in the future, whether it be about more Warrior Nun or about anything else that you've got in the works, because I adore you. You're so wonderful and just so talented. So yeah.
Thank you for having me, and you're wonderful too, and it was a pleasure speaking with you.
Please go stream Warrior Nun on Netflix right now, seasons 1 and 2, and don't forget to hop on Twitter and all the socials to follow Save Warrior Nun and tweet about it, do all the things, just try to keep that hashtag up, and engage with all of the incredible accounts that are pushing to get that season 3 over the line. And if you would be so kind, please subscribe here. I'll keep chatting to people from Warrior Nun if they will have me, and we'll do what we can. So yeah, just thank you so much, and just have a wonderful day.
Bye.
Bye.